Hello, you beautiful people! So, it's been quite a while since I made my last video, and today, we finally got some info related to the new characters appearing in patch 3.3, namely Hyacine and Cipher. So in this video, I'll give you a quick little preview on what they might do and how strong their respective kits will be. Also, just want to say that I'll be announcing the results for the 10 Express Pass giveaway that I hosted really soon, so do remember to keep an eye out for that. Before we go on though, if you're planning to pull for any of the new characters, you might want to check out Loot Bar because on this site you can save up to a total of 23% on all your purchases. To give an example, I'll buy this 3280 Oniric Shard pack for $43, and this same pack costs me about $50 from the in-game shop. You can see that it's cheaper, right? The top-up process is honestly really easy as well because all you need to do is enter your UID in this box and choose your respective server depending on your account. After waiting for a few minutes, I received my Jades with the double top-up bonus because it was my first purchase and saved a decent amount of money. Other than HSR, you can top up on Genshin as well using Loot Bar, and both of these games have quite a lot of 5-star reviews. Lastly, if you use my link which is in the description or the pinned comment, you can get an extra 8% off on top of all the other discounts. Anyways, with that done, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Starting with Cipher, most of you already know that she is going to be a quantum type unit who follows the path of nihility, and right now, it looks like she is going to have a really interesting kit overall. Basically, if we go by the recent info, Cipher will be able to play the role of a main DPS and a sub DPS in your team at the same time, and this single thing could potentially make her really strong and flexible in the long run. By the way, a lot of you might not know this, but Cipher was originally going to be a physical nihility unit who was supposed to buff the DOT archetype, but recently, they changed her element from physical to quantum. Honestly, I think the quantum element fits her design way more as compared to the physical element, so this change was overall really great in my opinion. Now, the first thing that stood out to me from the new info that we got on her is that she has a debuff in her kit which is exclusive to her. So, Cipher's debuff functions similarly to Topaz's mark that she applies onto enemies, which increases the damage that an enemy receives, and it also lets her focus all of her damage onto the marked enemy. Also, I forgot to mention this before, but Cipher is going to be a follow-up based unit just like Fei Xiao, and her follow-ups are also going to be her primary source of damage alongside the additional damage that she deals. Basically, whenever her follow-up attack hits an enemy, this attack will either deal additional damage to the target or it will apply an effect to the enemy that deals additional damage on top of her follow-up damage. And this thing genuinely makes her kit really unique compared to the rest of the roster. Next up, the final thing that we know about her kit right now is a small version of her talent, and you will soon realize that this talent clearly shows the direction that they want to push her kit in. So, at the start of any of her allies' turn, Cipher will inflict her unique debuff onto a random enemy and mark this target, but this debuff application will usually prioritize the enemy with the highest HP pool. Now though, whenever this marked target takes damage, Cipher will enter her enhanced state, and in this state, she will launch a follow-up attack whenever a marked enemy is attacked by any ally on her team. Honestly, the number of times that she can trigger this follow-up attack is most likely going to be capped, but whenever you use her ultimate, it will reset this follow-up counter and lets her launch follow-ups again. By now, I think a lot of you might have already figured out that her talent kind of works like Tribi, but Cipher is most likely going to have way more damage and maybe even a better uptime than her. Overall, to summarize, Cipher is going to be a main or a sub DPS that launches a ton of follow-ups which deals additional damage, and she also has a lot of self-buffs to enhance her own damage. I genuinely think that Cipher might be our first main DPS type unit who is going to be fully based around dealing additional damage outside of her own turn, and you can think of her as somewhat of a mix between Robin and Jade. I mean, a mix between those two characters sounds really interesting and strong to me, so I'm already somewhat excited to see the final version of her kit. Now on the other hand, Hyacine's kit takes a much simpler approach, and the info on her kit that we have is way less compared to Cipher. Honestly though, even though we have almost zero info on her, I feel like it's really easy to guess how her kit will function, and she is most likely going to be Castorice and Mydei's best in slot sustain. So, the first thing that we know about Hyacine is that she will be really fast, and I'm going to put some great emphasis on that really fast part. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the new healing planar set that we got in patch 3.1 is definitely made with Hyacine in mind, and with that insane 180 speed requirement. I'm pretty certain that Hyacine will take full advantage of that, and she actually might be able to surpass Aglaia in terms of speed outside combat. I have to say, This is really good for both Mydei and castorice, as Hyacine will likely have small bursts of frequent healing for both of them, which enables their kit quite nicely. Now, another new info that we have on her says that she will actually burn or drain your team's HP first, and then she will recover it rather than just healing it in a straightforward manner. At a first glance, I know that this entire HP burn and then recover mechanic sounds useless, but as we all know, Mydei and castorice love their HP being drained because it charges their abilities really well. Now, due to this mechanic, Hyacine will fit perfectly in their teams, so it's a great thing to have at the end of the day. Next up, the source stated that her ultimate will be able to generate skill points, which is genuinely kind of confusing to me as both of these characters don't really have any SP issues at all, but I guess extra skill points are always a nice thing to have. Overall, her kit seems really simple to me, and she is basically a really fast healer who drains the team's HP and then heals it back even more. Anyways, with that, we're done discussing all the new info that we got on both of these characters. Do comment down below how you feel about their kits as of now, and if there's a mechanic that you would like to see in their actual kit. Also, if you made it this far, thanks, and you might want to consider subscribing as well. With that being said, I will see you in another one.